In this video, we're just going to go through packaging up your bike for travel. A few little simple things that can help you easily reassemble the bike here. So you will always have to take off your handlebars to throw it into a bike bag or a bike box, just because it is quite long or quite wide. What I always recommend to people is never touching really the stem or the front of the stem or the handlebars, just because when it comes to bike fitting, you never want to really mess with that. So I'm just loosening this bolt off here. So I'm just going to loosen that off here, loosen off the other side, and then just take the stem off. And then what we're going to do is, if we had packaging material, we're going to protect the frame and just cover the frame and just protect it that it doesn't get scratched by the handlebars itself. So after you do loosen off the stem bolts here, what we're going to do is we're just going to loosen off this top cap bolt as well. So we're going to loosen off this top cap bolt as well, just so we can actually get the stem off. So just loosening this off. And I'm just going to put that to the side, and I'm actually going to take the actual stem off. So I'm just going to put that to the side here, just making sure that nothing's going to get caught or nothing's going to get damaged, and that there's no sharp pulling. And then I'm just going to reinstall this cap bolt, just to make sure that it is reinstalled or not forgotten. So I'm just going to throw this on just a little bit tight. A handy trick as well is if you do have quite a few headset spacers, is just grabbing one of these zip ties. So right now the stem was at the top of the steer tube here, but if the stem was a little bit lower down, like let's say in between these headset spacers, so if the stem was in between these headset spacers here, or even like that, or stacked all the way at the bottom, let's say you weren't building the bike, or if you got a bike shop to build the bike for you, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell whoever's building the bike where the spacers were. So by just throwing in a zip tie and mimicking where the stem was, obviously it was on the top here, but we're just going to pretend that the stem was on the bottom here. So by putting a little spacer there, bring it up to the top here, whoever builds the bike knows that the stem's going to be in this position here. So it's a handy trick when it comes to getting the bike built to where you had it before. So when you are packaging up the bike, you're going to have something to protect the side of the frame here, just to make sure that the handlebars aren't going to damage the frame. So when you are going to package up the bike here, you're going to have the handlebars probably in this position, so you can see how important it is to protect the frame, just because you have the brake lever rubbing on the frame here. You also have potential rub here, as well as rub up here. So always make sure you are protecting the frame, just with a little bit of bubble wrap, cardboard, anything's better than nothing, and just protect the frame here. And then just attach this to the frame either with painter's tape or maybe a zip tie. And then that's all you need to package up the frame. So when reassembling the bike, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tighten up this top cap. Nothing too tight, literally just like 2 fingers, tighten that up there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put the bike onto the ground. We're just going to make sure that the actual headset is tight enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the front brake and just kind of wiggle the bike front and backwards. What you're going to notice is you're going to notice a little bit of play in the actual headset and the fork here. So when I press on the front brake and rock it back and forward, there's quite a bit of play. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten that top cap a little bit more, and just to eliminate that play. So I'm rocking it back and forth, and that's feeling really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten up the stem bolts loosely, making sure that I'm not over tightening it so I can actually torque it later. So what I'm doing is I'm just looking down the handlebars and making sure everything is aligned. Obviously you don't want it twisted to one side or the other side. You want it as close to center as humanly possible. So when you have everything aligned, what you're going to do is you're just going to tighten the top, tighten the bottom, making sure you're not really putting any real force on it. Just enough force to keep it from twisting when you are going to be moving it around. And just again, making sure everything's straight. And then what we're going to do is just torque the stem bolts. Yeah, so I'm just going to torque the stem bolts. So just going to start with the top. Then we're going going to go towards the bottom. So towards the bottom, I'm just trying to get up to that 5. And we're just going to go back to the top. And go back to the bottom just to make sure everything is tight. Once you have everything torqued, the bike's good to go to ride.